Blessings. Welcome forward, yeah, to Reasonings at Actual Life. We're on the road, right? On the Actual Life Television Network. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, you can check me out, Jerome Sagebot, on Instagram, right? And on Facebook as well, too, right? And this is Bob the Mystic, yeah?
Blessing,
You know,
everyone.
when you see me without my hair covered, you know that it's an impromptu. This one wasn't really planned, right? And today it's not so much about me, it's a reason with a Bob. So, you know, I've been basically haven't really been in the same place with Bob for a little bit, right? Physically, that is, you know. So, many thoughts from the last video. We never really saw each other. I saw Raman since then, but I didn't really see you. So, you know, it's a good reason to catch up. So, Bob, as usual, you know, what has happened is that, you know, people listen to my network, realize that they've been listening to Jerome a lot. And we really feel a way that people say, well, it's Jerome and it's who we've been listening to. But there's some people out there think I'm a conceited person. I just want to make that very clear. I might be anything, but conceited is not one. Not because you might feel like I love to chat, you feel like I'm trying to block somebody's information. Don't you dare think so. I speak the word that God puts in me and I want that to be assertive. Bob is a different personality from me. So this moment is about Bob. So Bob, tell me some things because you know the people them say they want to hear Bob talk about some things. So currently we've been talking about this African cultural thing and Africans' perception of spirituality. I mean, I dictate nothing, but just I say, yeah, reason. I just want to can't take a reason for that. But I mix nothing. I share live television. This. So, so you were telling me about some of the indigenous things that you found out, like how we perceive things and maybe how we must relook at some of our culture.
Alright, what are we trying to tell that? One man and kid trying to guide you in information on all levels. So they have to go through the basic level of information of their point of view so that they can expand other information, you know? So that when you get the higher information, you won't confuse. But you have to go to the compute information, what they give you the system, and then flip the information, what the ether give you the truth, so that we can immerse it together. So that is why when you listen to theater and Roman information, what they're talking about, the subject, you know. So there's information of the African subject that show you what their subject, it helps you flip to give you a higher truth, that expand it more, basically. When one man talk about Jesus Christ and all these stories, most of the information have half truth and half lie, but there's a truth in it. So when the African expand the information beyond different terminology and a higher platform of the intelligence, what it is, like Emmanuel, it gives you a higher perspective why they manipulate the information from the east and put it in the west and make the story that a little twisted, you get me? But you need to know the confusion and the problem and the errors, then you know the solution. So you recognize the solution, you ready?
Okay, so you get what Baba said. I mean,
Right.
Bobby's saying that, and I don't think.
Oh, okay, I want to give an example. Like information about Moses, right? In the African terminology, Moses Moses come from a Greek word, basically using a different terminology of their metaphysical, of their character. So the Africans flip the name and give them Metis,
Moshe.
Moshe, and give you black, the black philosophical way.
Philosophical, yeah.
Right. But it's the same, let's say the same story, but different principle, a different color, different tiger.
Different interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, so to just put it in context for the Western-minded Christians, because our channel has to go there because we are people of knowledge and spirituality. So, pardon me. You have some Western Christians. We are not accusing. We see how we've been educated into Jesus Christ, into spirituality, into knowledge. No, you have Rastaman who say, let go Jesus, I'm done with that. We've come to evolution to know that it's a personal opinion that people postulate without understanding Yeshua and don't understand the Greek terminology Jesus and the Greek terminology Moses. So
I
just
agree.
coming back to your back. So just to understand, say, when you use Greek terminologies to refer to characters that aren't Greek, there's people who seem to think so we are talking about some Greeks, right? Some geeks or something, no offense geeks, all right? But they seem to be thinking that we're talking about a European character and I keep telling them, we're not talking about Cesar Borgia. We're not talking about Cesar Borgia. Get that in your head. So what is good is that my brethren He not so too much into the European information structure like me and Raman. We're not European minded. It's the way information is presented.
But you just use the information that is the error coming from, and you just flip it. It's like, can't you? It's like the African have to study the Greek and the whole of them, what they manipulate our language of the Kemek and the Kemek and the Arab and the Arabian language, and they use it to flip their code. So it's like we're ahead of them.
First culture, indigenous culture.
Yeah.
So, as I said in one visit and one video before, right? God, you can do an etymology of the word. You have a lot of people who don't deal with it because they know that a lot of its structure connotes to the dog guardian of the underworld.
Right.
Which is a lot of promotion, not in European culture, but coming from Egyptian culture.
Right.
Not just pure Cometian culture. Because people have to talk about pure Cometian culture, and yet still, we have declared that there are things in pure Cometian culture that is still held today in Christendom. So it is historic, it is ancestral, it is natural. Remember, we're talking about putting back together the perception of man before the fall of Adam. What was that perception? The godlike perception we are talking about. That's what Real Life is about. That's what Roman and myself is about. When me and Roman clash, we talk about, I say, Roman, it's like maybe you want to be like the biblically church people. Roman has to say me that I'm into the Bible, the Word of God, not philosophies thereupon, based upon identity in religion, identity based upon ethnicity.
Right.
Deal with the truth.
Right, because the African don't deal with the religion because they deal with their own ancestral culture and what they identified. So that is why the religion of Western culture that they call Judeo-Christian.
Judeo-Christian.
You're right. It make you go out of it for yourself and give it a dogma spirit.
Okay, so
that is why people talk about dogma.
Dogma, yeah.
Right.
That people in the West, especially the Christian, more dogmatic. That's why I use the term
and
Christian.
you remember,
I use follower of Christ.
Right.
To get out a European definition of my spirituality, of my faith.
Alright. And you remember the South African told me in the video that all the Africans that are not controlled by the European spell with their religion. So example like West Africa. The European control the West Africa base and they're trying to put their religion and their spell on it.
It's like taking your spirituality and replacing with their spirituality. So
and then
your
they have your own color, you have your own identity, you have your own culture.
It's born in them and not in yourself. Right. So it's like now when we come now as people with locks and them say certain things, we are talking about Yeshua or Jesus to some, we know that some Rastaman go psycho, you have some other Christians who go psycho, and you have some people say them clear and clairvoyant who go psycho. But how is it that a person's personal understanding of themselves and life should make you go psycho? You are unsure of yourself. But that's another thing. So Bob, what is interesting that we are bringing this information forward is trying to say to people, say, there's a lot of ancestral information out there. And on my channels, we've never tried to be anti-ancestral. We are anti-ancestral worship. But you have people ancestral worship. That's their business. But I'm not into ancestral worship. I'm into the recognition of the genetical destiny, the journey I've come through. So I respect my ancestors in all ethnicities that I have traveled through spiritually and physiologically. And that's my genes, right? So therefore, I'm very thankful about that. So I don't have a race-based consciousness. But don't ever believe you can put no white ideology over on me. Or no black supremacist ideology over on me. It not gonna work. Or nobody thinks you're gonna bring no fundamentalist religious ideology upon me. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. But I am clear in saying this. The Spirit of Christ, and I will say this without apology, question me all you want, I agree with me, has been present since the manifestation of Yeshua the Christ. That Spirit has been present in every ethnicity, every culture, every class, every creed. However, all people interpret the truth is based, a lot of times, based upon how they've been trained through the religious culture or the kind of spiritual or the ancestral culture. Doesn't mean that Christ isn't there. Doesn't mean that God isn't there. I'm a follower of Christ. That means that I accept His complete presentation of Himself and the divine way. That's why I'm a follower of Christ. That means it. When I listen to many of the other scholars, and I will name no name for no offense, because I read them, I read portions of them. Why didn't I call myself a Mohammedan? Why didn't I call myself a follower of Guantama, of Siddhartha Guantama? Why haven't I called myself, why did I only call myself a follower of Haile Selassie and never called myself a follower of the others, right? Number one, Haile Selassie is a follower of Yeshua the Christ, Jesus Christ, in English language to some, right? So I followed Haile Selassie because of that, right? So I've always stuck to the Christ-like traditions, that the Christ-like perception of creation is what I've always followed. Now, does it always come with the title God? Well, you know that's erroneous. It couldn't always come with the title God. That's a European word. So it seems to me people are thinking that the perception, the argument of God, or the supreme being, the supreme creator, didn't exist outside a European lingo, outside a European religious belief, which is garbage. It's total rubbish, right? So people can tell us that God doesn't exist because you don't see God written in an African wall. Come on. So the Africans have had a presentation or an interpretation or a perception of the creation, the creator, source of existence, source of all. Monotheism didn't start in Africa, right? It's only polytheism that started in Africa. Come on, right? I think you're disrespectful a lot sometimes how you perceive people who, through Jamaican perception, speak out about religion, because I think we're supposed to be like some third world nation under some colonial commonwealth system, which means that we are really inculcated in ancient British view of religion, and the British not even that religious anymore. So it seems like we are some little fundamentalist religious nuts here in Jamaica who's anti so much things that the Bible said. We fundamentally believe the Bible. Oh my God. Because now it's almost said that it's not a historical book, which is another piece of erroneous information. Now interpretations are there that gives you different views of the Bible. But and I know them also say you have some of the historians that try.
Like to take out religion out of your mind and like look at the Bible. And there's too much information in the Bible that a lot of people around the world that question themselves and thought discover certain place and they some knowledge more than the Bible.
More than
the information what they put in the book.
Yeah, the dogmas that them are promote.
But use the Bible as a way of, it's like they give you something to make you discover and you find yourself more. But after a while you have to continue traveling a path where your mind, there's something deeper inside of you. There's a truth inside of you. You know what I mean? After a while when you go all around the place around the world, all the civilization. But after a while it's inside of you.
I do agree with that. I do agree.
If you go to Africa, you can feel like the thing within how you feel like in there Jamaica. Once you feel that the thing within. It shows you how to connect your environment. That's all.
How you define good? Because good is supposed to be the act of equanimity in the most beneficial, right?
Right.
So if it's in terms of perception, good in terms of how we think about each other, same way you think about yourself, same way you think about another.
Good.
So you say you're a traditionalist, the next person said I'm a follower of Christ. Is it the belief system that make you genuine, or is it the way you are actually?
No, it's the way how I live naturally, how I feel inside and awareness.
But it doesn't change you from being a traditionalist, does it?
You know.
And it doesn't change me from being a follower of Christ, does it?
That means it.
Exactly.
I remember now, I want everybody read Haile Selassie, the Wise Man book. And you're going to learn why Haile Selassie told the guideline in each title, you see me? And he followed the foot of Christ, you know. And he said, the end now, you must be peace, love and light. No war, no hatred. It's the reason why you have to...
Christ said, turn the pruning hooks and shears.
That's what I'm saying. And once you find a peace, right. Once you find a peace within you, you're going to find a place that is safer within you when all the destruction fall and you'll be safe right here. That is why you need to open up your key, open up the key of your peaceness and live in the peaceness environment. So all it's like to no war, nothing. Just peace, protect your family, build up your own nation as a nation, educate yourself, right? Build up your own tradition and your own culture, your own liberty, right? The same thing, right? All the church don't give me the information, so I don't know why everybody fight each other for.
Yeah, no, because of a religiosity. No, there's a religious spirit, you know, and I think a lot of times people ascribe the religious spirit to the people who are speaking very strongly. Maybe they might think that, you know, because we're speaking so strongly.
Because they are superior.
Yeah, they
And the
think it's
same thing, it go back in the book. They are too pure. Once you're too pure over everything, you lose your time.
Yes.
You lose your content.
I believe they call it.
Nobody don't want to deal with you. Everybody are petty themselves and different because you have a lose your too pure. You're too pure. Like, if you're too pure, everything like come to the whole
Everything is
name.
become inferior to you naturally.
Yeah.
So if you have the superior perception of yourself and things, or your, let's just say, your position in things, right, your place in things, I mean, it really sends off a weird view of reality. But the truth of the matter is, wherever we are within our perceptions, right, the differences still reflect our humanness. So it's just like when you speak of truth, you build an institution around it, and you call the truth by the institution's name. I often say there is efficacy in the institution based upon the fact that it's around the truth, or it's based upon the truth. But do you believe in the institution, or do you believe in the truth? So, because I believe in the truth, and I'm not going against the church, and I'm not going against any such organization. You know why? Because they are built around the truth, right?
Right.
It doesn't make them the arbiter of truth, but you still have to respect their stance.
You have to respect their religion and their ethics and their laws and their point of view. Because once you have the higher truth, you will be humble enough to be talent. And if you learn how to follow, you learn how to lead.
Exactly.
That's how it's like your book. Read the book, man, to be yourself. And where I read the book, how it's like a wise man. It helped me to foundation my reality where I got through, and it helped me to expand and make my mind better and control my environment. And the way I got through, I feel much better. It made this book, it helps you to militate yourself of deal with the things seriously. And things are real, you know. Don't take it lightly, you know what I mean? So the way I read this book, the way the word on power he write, what he speak, it's real. It exists and it's real. It's not something that you can take it a joke about. He's in a different level, way level than we. And he take it serious every day. You do certain things like, you know, when you do certain things.
Your faith, your way of life.
It's good, man. That is the way of life.
It becomes you. It must become what you are all about. What you are is how you are. That's how you're defined, right? And if you really begin to think about it, we have been through half-truths, misunderstandings as, you know, indigenous people here in the West, because our cultures were subjugated by, you know, Europeans, you know, 500 years ago through warfare and, you know, systematic oppression and
economic warfare.
And they have kept us under those strains for the last 500 years. And
500 years slavery of
to quote Haile Selassie, he was saying that one of the tenets of freeing oneself is freeing one's mind. Elevate your mind, right? Because part of education is to give you the tools by which to perceive existence,
right?
Not just to function within the pre-designed structures. The pre-designed structures, to know about them is good.
But you to flip it and manipulate it. And I try to help you.
Yeah, but you have to learn that knowledge is not just to function within the system. It's to become aware of who you are and how it is that you will function within the structure. So if there's an interpretation, there are perceptions and interpretation, and then there's the actuality of it, right? The Lord protects all of these things. Your faith is supposed to protect all of these things. That's how some people still don't understand why a man can say, I'm Rasta, and say, I love all people. If you love all people carry, as to some degree, differentials in religion, in belief. So if you love all people, you have to actually manifest that love by how you treat all people.
Right.
It can't be that you love only people who think like you, other people who agree with you, because those people who make up the all will be Buddhists, Christians, Muslims, you see the Jews, the indigenous, the man that has no perception. So my stance here at Shell Life is that the first man, Adam, fell out of the actuality of his alignment with nature, with his creator. That caused a culture which we term the culture of the esoterics, right? Those cultures are not based upon a perception in God. They're based upon a question necessarily without an answer. Right. So they ask a question, but they do not give an answer. Raman would say they are theorists, right? So because they do not have an answer, or they refuse to accept the actual answer, they give you theories, right? So you have the theoretics of the esoterics who create a society and a reality based upon their perception, right? And then you have the esoterics, of which I believe myself to be a part of, who our perception will always be upon a source, a creator, a God, a principle, a person, personage, an energy, an entity.
Alright. And that is why when you read the Bible story, you know that the story in the Western Bible sounds weird, but that is why you question deep in the story. Alright, that's an example like when they nailed Jesus on the cross. Yeah, and some people when they nailed to the cross, some people can stay longer, a week or a month, you know. But how come Jesus to die in the cross for 2 hours? He not really die, he was unconscious and they put on his body and and that's a man gone or India or something, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying that they give it the story, but they not give it the full aspect of the truth, how the story it is, you see me?
But that's
it's like a fantastic.
That's what we talk about perception.
That is the perception about their imagination.
Because some people have a different account of Yeshua than the followers of Christ. And this is the most important thing I want to say. I give thanks of how I hold my perception. Right? So therefore, the difference of information and perception won't change my faith. It won't do that. So all it will do is strengthen my faith because I know my perception. But the thing is that I understand now when some people, like I remember I used to tell my stepfather when I just coming to the Christ awareness, and she know me as a man of knowledge, I would be like, and some people know this information, so don't Marcus only say it. My stepfather would say to me, oh, you are talking about Christ? I say, yes. And he would then try to come as a superior thought over me. And I would go, but what are you talking about, Jesus? Is it the church thing you're talking? Or are you talking the fact that his body was stolen and hidden in Mecca? Right? And three quarters of the perception of this Western power structure is based upon people who in the secret orders go and see his body, lose their mind and come back to the West and then brought back to sanity and lead this Western civilization. I look at my stepfather. I look at my stepfather, I look at him. So when I tell you, say, I've had perceptions on Christ that it don't scare me. I once argued with a man who said he's an atheist, right, for a good while, reasoned on everything. At the end of it, he says to me, how come you know so much and talking about Jesus and God? I turned to him and I said, how come you know so much and not talking about Jesus and God? How could you amass so much knowledge and deny the power thereof? So I know the multiple stories. Then I always say to people, in whom is your belief? In whom is your faith? On whom is your faith rooted and grounded? And if it's in actuality, my view, my personal perception is, if it's in actuality, then you're in the living. You are in the actual reality. Some people, with a word called the living dead, them not in. Them not in the actual reality. Them is what you call like an image, a hologramic. Them not real. And it's more than one way to talk about real. Real isn't argumentative I'm talking about. I'm talking about their frequency is aberrating. Their expression is aberrating. So it doesn't matter how smart they are or lack of knowledge.
And their liberty. If your third eye open, you can nudge people doing their back door and then come to you and then give you knowledge. How do you know they are real and they give you information? It's off.
Yes?
It's off, yeah. That's why you bring me back the question and say, good. What is good? You live good. Do good. That's how you know your good knowledge. That's how you know your true time, your true knowledge.
Yes, like, doing these videos, for real life,
That's what I'm saying. It's like, man. It's like I'm not that stupid,
Yeah, we're helping people to look at things that, like I said.
And you know what the bad come out, we want to know because you're artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Wicked intelligent, telepathic your thought. And your being come to you. That's how you know you get knowledge with the fallen angel. That's how when people go Tamana Damao, they get their demon knowledge and express their future, their machine,
their reality.
And the tip. Dark age spirit.
It's their reality.
Yeah, it's their reality.
And that reality isn't the actuality. Because sometimes lower vibration. So people might talk about, you're just talking about different belief systems.
What you call it, transgender reality.
Yeah. Are we talking about different belief systems? You're thinking I'm talking about different belief systems. Yeah. But if you have eyes that go wide up like this and you perceive life like that, and if you have eyes that go like this, isn't it life you're perceiving? So can't we come to the actuality of what life is? So am I really talking about belief system? You have lower vibrational people, right? And true life's perception is to rise the vibration, to let people perceive things at a level that is actual, and that actuality is proven through their own experience, not through ours. We are only relating ours.
That I'm saying, that is why I make a very important point, because that is why I part a lot of people around the environment. You know, I don't judge them and say I do with people good. You know, when people do be a fucking behind them back door, when them come and change their personality, then talk, give them knowledge how them go through their thing, them talk about them what a lot of kids watch their TV and watch them naughty videos and do naughty things. It's their purpose and they still watch their video too, as the adults they do the same shit. So them pretend that they have a knowledge of their own against them, but they don't have no knowledge. It's just them trying to protect themselves to feel like they're reading out of darkness.
Yes, it's a
they're not dispelling no darkness at all. They're still in darkness and reading with darkness.
They're trying to understand the darkness. Maybe they won't perceive it like darkness. No, we call it lower vibration. The Bible call it carnality. At another level, call it darkness, right? And Psalms 82 verse 6 said the people walk around in darkness. Because they don't know. Right? So we have to make sure say
and them go against the spiritual
so
people and them know them complete the information.
Exactly.
They know, man.
So don't ever.
And then go, yeah, think. Buckler, them knowing it. Sorry, you have to edit that.
It will edit, but anyway, I'll go straight. Listen, but the beauty of it is, people, disregard that, but the beauty of it is, people, when Your Life has done these videos, right, when I've been doing these videos over all that time, one of the strongest things that we've come to recognize is that, number one, people always have different opinions, perceptions, but we must agree on what we are seeing, right? That is the foundation of actuality. So if you can go back to what is actual, and then our foundation will be based upon what is actual. So when you and I have different language, right? Language, perception, it's the same thing. When you and I have different language and we look at the sun, right? And I say sun, and you say shamash, right? Or you say something else. But the actuality of the fact that we are speaking of the same thing overcomes our philosophies, our perceptions, and our language. Actuality trumps all of the viewpoints. So it doesn't mean when a man is saying something outside of your religious perception, he's not referring to truth. And it doesn't mean when somebody says something within your religious perception, it doesn't mean it's actual truth. Just because it's within your religious belief and within your religious perception or within your spiritual belief or your spiritual perception doesn't mean that what they're saying is actual. So in a lot of times, what I look on is that I think the Lord always reminds me, because sometimes I have the tendency, Bob, to want to get to the religiosity because it affects us all, because it's in the atmosphere. What is the religiosity? The religious spirit. What is the religious spirit? The religious spirit is making us look at life through the religion and not recognizing that we are. The religion is a reflection of that, right? So it's not the religion thinking reality for us, but it's us thinking reality through our religion.
Right.
And so this is something we need to be very careful about. Because when a person thinks reality outside of your religion, and you know they're not telling a lie, aren't you supposed to accept the truth as the truth? So even the moment a while ago, in my perception, right, I try not to ever speak a certain word on camera, right? Now that I don't speak it in reality, because sometimes it comes out in reality, but I try not to speak it on camera. Not to say Bob isn't aware of that thing, but in Bob's perception, in our perception, in the old Chialite perception, that word clear off a whole heap of negative energy.
And then every time I look at the camera, I can see different people in the outside being interfere in my head space, you know what I mean? Trying to put your thought alignment to your emotion, your spirit, your soul consciousness. You know? Yes. I know, because when I talk to people without camera and total life graduation, people tell you, Bob, you need to dip on the video, man, because the way you give information, you make the people them open up them third eye and how you let that expression come from. But when I go in camera, when I look at the camera, that camera reminds me like the third eye. But when I use the third eye and look at the camera, the thumping, reflecting, resonate, thumping the outside interfere with my internal back to what I'm trying to express.
Surely, I see that.
Yeah.
I
didn't create a camera. Yes. I wish to create a camera only that I interfere because it belongs to my consciousness.
How we explain that? Simple. From previously, when I used to say, when we had the video then, be attack on my voice and you try to scramble your thoughts because it's energy frequency, and actuality means actual, meaning we are speaking a positive word right now. You might watch this video hours later after it posts, but guess what? Right in this actual moment, there are people who are active in the frequency that are jamming what we are saying. Because no one will say what we are saying. So sometimes they scramble the perception a little and a word come out the wrong way. And I wanted to make allusion to it from but I kept missing the point because they keep distracting me. I want to say something. Bob has a slight hearing issue. So Bob's pronunciation of words sometimes is a little jam. But Bob has no problem pronouncing a word, even with his speech impairment. So when I see him baffling to pronounce a word, I know it's a vibrational frequency affecting. I don't have the perception to see things like he does, but I feel them. Oh shit. Me feel it. That is why we are saying to you, many people don't reach the level of clarity that we're talking about, but we know it's because your vibrational frequency are lower. And we're saying to you, pay attention. Think for yourself. Actualize your own thoughts. Like Baba said, nothing you think your own thought, and somebody a project or somebody is projecting their thought wave in the actuality of now into your thoughts to affect and scramble because they are projecting their reality or they are maintaining this reality.
And not only that, this will help you what's going on right now in front of you every day. Somebody project your thought and arguing somebody with your parent or your friend, emotional, that's what happened. Because you are trying to do things that the positive energy reach out for you and you have to stay positive. You get me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the reality. But I just saying, deep breath.
Yes. Relax.
Relax.
We are never trying to be the model or the standard. What I always try to stand by, and I know Raman too as well, is that there is a real lack of knowledge. Now, a friend of mine had to bring it to my knowledge recently to make certain things clear to people, not just the information, but give them a video like this of the reasoning, not just a presentation of information. And I'll make it very clear. Give me a moment. I have spent many years perceiving many things. I have developed my perception of reality over many years. I'm a big enough man, right? So when I hear viewpoints, it don't shape my viewpoints. And sometimes people might say, what are your supporting arguments? I need no supporting arguments. I am not building up a perception. So because I am solid in my perception and in my view, sometimes where I reason from, I forget sometimes, Bob, that there are people who do not have that foundation in their self-research, self-analysis, or self-knowledge, as I do. So I take it for granted by not making some things clear. There's a process to perception, right? It's like you can put on a shoes on your feet, for those who wear shoes. And the shoe can be, as they say, your size is 9.5. The shoe says it's 9.5, but when you put it on, it does not fit. There's a size that says 10. Your size is 10, as they say. But you put on that 10, and it will fit perfectly. And the size that says 9.5 does not fit.
Sometimes there's a shoe that they said 9. I big, when you put it more than 9. Yeah. My size is 10.5. I'm always I wear 10 or 11 or 10. Depending on the material of the shoe. And the material make the leather, like the leather shoe make you wider. You have to go big. That's the example of self-actualization.
But it's who make the shoes.
Because if people who behind the shoes maker?
Yeah, because if people have smaller feet, the premise of a 9 is going to be smaller. The premise of a 9.5 is going to be smaller, right? The premise of a 10 is going to be smaller. But if you are from a ethnicity that have bigger feet, right? Your idea of 10, right, will be amazing. But it's going to be big. It's going to be small if your perception and your culture and the people them are small bodied. So everything has a balance to it, right? So then, when I was talking about things having the definition, but the experience doesn't fit the definition. That is why you have to have the experience for yourself. I have seen many people's thought waves, I've seen their expressions of spirituality, I've learned what reality creates in them, right? And I have chosen, through my understanding of processing things, that's not my reality, and I found my reality. I realized I couldn't work with certain perceptions. You know why? Because how I am made up. Because self-knowledge, I'm talking about again, I spent years searching me, right? So I knew that I couldn't follow a certain esoteric perception. I did it for a while, but even when I was doing it, I always had a God. I didn't have the God of the Bible, but I had a supreme. I always say, I don't know who that God is, but he must come present himself to me. But I always knew no one could lie to me about the personage of God. You know why? I break it on one simple term to show you inside my perception. If I am a human being, but yet I am an individual. Bob is a human being, but yet is an individual. So human being is not just a consciousness, it's also form, right?
It's just like a spiritual
Yes.
form to the mind form to the human form.
Living beings are the same too, right?
Yeah, living energy, right?
Trees aren't all the same, but they are trees.
Thank you. Group by my girl right now.
Cats aren't the same, but they're cats, right? Every living being carries an individual identity, yet a collective identity. So, I figured it out a long time ago. Our source is individual before indivisible. So before anyone can play no games with my mind, I know our source, because Jerome Butler has a form, though I have a formless spirit. So God is form and formation. So he is singular. Whatever we want to use gender-based terms, him, it, father, as a form, as an entity, is an entity. All of us, everything, the trees are an entity. Though they are trees, they are an entity. Every living creature is an entity. That's the stamp of creation. Cats don't walk around as 7 cats in one. You don't see 7 faces and 14 sets of feet walking in front of you and say, oh, there goes a cat. Dogs don't walk as 25 dogs in one. And they say, oh, there's a dog. All dog has an individual form. Every living creature, the ant have an individual form. So ants aren't this mush of energy running around. Oh, that's ant. Oh, that's a living being. All of us meshed in one. God is an individual entity, the source of all entity. So that is one thing I want to share a little bit with you. God on a principle. You hear that, people? Jerome said that. You can quote me on that. God on a principle out there. You better talk about principle. God is principle. You know, God is love and justice. Those are manifestations. Those are manifestations of the presence of God. You hear me I tell you? Yeah. God way more than principle. Way more than some perception. You hear me I tell you? See you as a being, I walk up and down. God is a being. Get into reality. Actuality, people. Yeah, man. We just want to bless you. I mean, we'll go through this already. You know, see us smoking, and there's no alcohol here, by the way. But sometimes we take a little sip, but there's no alcohol here. What I want to say is because I'm recognizing, remember, it's not just only we alone. There's many perceptions. But you have a problem with yourself if you can't accept Jerome and you can't accept Bob. Then don't listen to Jerome. Don't listen to Bob.
Oh, you're not listening to yourself. And you tell, you know, and now we, you know, it's a tell your inner self, you know, and we want you to hear new knowledge come from your inner self. That is all I'm saying. We're trying to help you to activate your inner consciousness, your inner awareness, your inner genes, your inner ancestors, your inner godliness. Godliness.
Godliness.
Yeah, right.
Are your God nature?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, brother. So people, we just want to say thank you for spending a moment listening, sharing with me. Leave comments below, like, subscribe, share. Share Life Television Network and Celia Media as well too. Brother Bob the Mystic, Jerome Marshall Lock the Butler. We're just giving thanks for all of these moments we've shared. We're right here in the center of Kingston, Comfortania Lounge. Big thanks to everyone who has been online with us, who've been sharing with us, and for those who sometimes the experience haven't been perfect. You know, sometimes the communication isn't the greatest, or we've had a disagreement. Remember, we're living beings too. What we believe is not us, it's greater than us. So, in the presence of Bob, we give thanks to the Most High God. Forgive us all in overtures in little arguments, because it's not going to be edited out. So, in little words, passing, you know, forgive us. Blessings to you. That's a lot. Whatever.
Yeah, give thanks. Well, I just want to say one thing. let's connect with nature. Once you see the nature, you always see the heaven and
Bless
earth
you,
around
brother.
you. Blessing the earth and the heaven around you. You have to feel the connection with nature. Once you connect with nature, you make your own environment perception around you. You learn other perception and you learn the inner perception, you see me? And the inner perception come within you, how you're born, like you come out, you see your third eye come out your mother room, and you see your life, you see your own perception, you know? So the perception, it go back to inward. It's like inside what you see that come out in a step. It's like a before perception, perception, in a inception.
Yeah.
Like
Inception
inception to
before.
perception. You see?
Yeah,
Blood
inception.
septon. I just
Inception.
show me doing that better, man. Not because I already been better in the environment, but the camera, I'm overcoming that technology.
Yes.
Because I am an internal born, I never born in an external world to the you to the environment. So that is why my electrical energy is more internal. So when I come to the external environment, it have a disagreement. And there's a being in the external that is articulate the reality does not agree in this sphere.
Yes, yes. We understand. We understand.
Yeah.
Some of you do. Some
It's
way
like
you
you
can-
got the psychological coming up, physiological coming up. And the information come up in your mind, it's just something that is there conception.
Yes.
But when you perceive your own inner perception or what it is, you recognize that it's an information that you don't want to interfere with those things.
Yes.
It's just awareness, you know?
Yes.
And those psychological, the mind, the body coming up, it comes from we call it, it's an electrical energy wave reflecting. It comes from in a electrical pulse choice,
Yes.
in a British intelligence where they're putting the
How their
info.
psyches, man.
Yeah.
In a lot of sense, we see that is how a lot of us are taught to reason, argue, debate, perceive. In this context, still has a lot of the European perception, regardless of the fact that we break out of it in our own perception, but we still use a language that was designed in European perception. Be that as it may, understanding our lexicon, understanding ideologies, word ideologies, we are now saying clearly, get to the actuality of what our words are saying, the implication. Break the codes, feel us, feel the spirit, manifest the clarity of the spirit, and you will have that close perception, that close walk with the Most High. Until next time, I want to say to you, walk in that light of your own knowing by the grace of the living God in Jesus Christ, in Yeshua the Christ. Become self-aware, self-awakened to your presence, to His presence in you. Blessings, you're a gift, an awesome gift, as we are to ourselves, to you, to our communities. Continue to be. Until next time, this has been Jerome Sage Butler, and we've got Bob the Mystic right here. Reasonings are the trail. Right here. Blessings, 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 blessings.